Okay, we are officially live for another earnings stream. Give it a few moments for people on socials to pile into the stream here. What's up, Roland? Good to see you. We got today definitely a bearish day. S&P was down 1.12%. NASDAQ was down 1.9%. Even the Dow was down 0.8%. VIX was up 7%, getting back up to that 20 level. Okay, got about 100 people in now. Welcome, everybody. What's up, Roland? Good to see you. Nice little group here in the Discord. Final push. Good to see you. Almost 200 people piling into the stream. Let's go. All right, let me go to DraftKings and Airbnb. Those are the two I'm going to be looking at today. So I got TradingView pulled up. Go to 5-minute chart first. It's my understanding Airbnb is supposed to report right at 4 p.m. So I think maybe their data's out. Let me double check. DraftKings is 4:15. Yeah, Airbnb's right at 4. Their forecast EPS 2.29, forecast revenue $4.08 billion. Airbnb is still $1 billion company. They're trading just under their anchored VWAP. Their anchored VWAP right below 125 a share. Today they closed at $120.52 a share. So they were down 1.6% during the regular session. Getting some volatility here. I'm going to go 1-minute chart. Initial reaction was negative, and then it popped right back up. So I'm thinking maybe this first red candle, that wasn't really the real move, was it? We'll see. I think it's still kind of marinating a second. Let's give it a few minutes. Let's see what it ends up doing. A little bit of indecision going on. First negative reaction, then popped up, then came back down. Now it's back up. There's 20 more seconds left on this candle print. I'm pretty sure Airbnb's data's out though, so let me go ahead and get that for everybody. Okay, got some buying pressure a little bit. It's up over 1% in after hours right now. Okay, Airbnb did miss EPS by a little bit. Wow, over 600 people in now. What's up, everyone? Swinging Bull. PB alert. What's going on? All right, let me move this. Let me pull this graphic over here from the earnings correspondent. Okay, so like I was saying, they missed EPS just by a little bit, but they did beat revenue. Year over year and quarter over quarter numbers are green across the board. So just that small miss on EPS is so far the only thing I see right now. Let's take a look at some other things. So far, getting a positive reaction, up 4.5% for the Airbnb bulls. I'm going to post this EPS and revenue on the screen so people joining can see what's going on here. So there we go. So they missed EPS just by a little bit, but they beat revenue. Let's see what other info I can find for everyone. And we'll find out when their earnings web call is. Look, they started coming back a little bit. Okay, it's trading at 124 in the post market. You see margin came in at 35%. Let's see what else I can find. Yeah, someone on next time. Airbnb cleaning fees are insane. I haven't really done Airbnbs much. I mean, I've stayed in a few here and there, but I know people that are religious about it. Every time they go out of town, they're getting the Airbnb. Let's see. Guru Focus price target on Airbnb 174. Okay. Morningstar is at 154 a share. Airbnb delivered record quarterly revenue, but so they beat revenue and it was a record quarter. Slight miss on EPS due to higher expenses, and they are maintaining strong year-over-year growth momentum. We just went over that a little bit with the year-over-year numbers. So let me see if I can find something else here. Let me find out. We got about 10 more minutes before DraftKings reports. So we go to Airbnb's investor relations page. And let me check the Discord and make sure I didn't miss anything there. Also, I want to post EPS and revenue in the Discord for everybody. Sometimes I forget to do that. I apologize. Just scroll back up just a little bit. Okay. Okay, SOUN also reports. Appreciate it, Breckle. Fastubi says the trade desk is also reporting. So okay, Airbnb holding its positive move. Let's look at here. I'll go to this other tab here. Let me go to the trade desk. Yeah, Glenn Murphy on X. I was just thinking the same thing. That's why I was saying, like, I don't really use Airbnb a lot because I can get the same accommodations really at a hotel room, and you get at a hotel room you get room service, free breakfast a lot of times, and it's really not that much more for a hotel room. So I've heard that a lot in the past, and then Airbnb, you got to clean up after yourself. You don't really have to do that in the hotel room. So definitely some good points you're making there, Glenn, and I totally agree. Yeah, Breckle on Discord says it's good for monthly rentals when you move around a lot. I can see that. So Trade Desk was kind of, this is the 15-minute chart. Trade Desk was kind of all over the place too. They had an initial positive reaction and then retraced all the way back down. Now they're negative. Look at that. I want to check SOUN as well. For everyone just joining, almost over 1,500 people in the stream now. DraftKings data doesn't come out till 4:15 p.m. Eastern, so we got about 7 more minutes. Let's see what SoundHound getting a negative reaction. So far the Trade Desk and SoundHound negative reaction. Airbnb holding up green. I'm going to get more info on Airbnb as well because they're getting a positive reaction, and not quite sure if it's just because they set a record revenue quarter. That's definitely a positive thing. And I think that's what most investors were looking for Airbnb. It's that revenue. It's very important for that company. Got some more data from Wolf Financial, one of our partner companies. Gross booking value, $22.9 billion versus $21.6 billion estimate. So they beat the gross booking value line item. Q4 revenue. So this is kind of guidance related. They got a high end of the range of 2.72 billion for Q4. Obviously this year, the estimate was 2.67 billion. So they kind of raised Q4 outlook for revenue a little bit. And let's see here, Q4 nights and seats growth, mid to single digits. Long-term effective tax rate to decline to mid to high teens starting 2026. So long-term effective tax rate declining. Well, that's good for the company. So definitely got some positive things for Airbnb. They increased guidance. They did miss EPS forecast just by a little bit, but they beat revenue and raised Q4 outlook. So good for the Airbnb bulls. Let me see when their earnings web call is. And then we're going to switch over to DraftKings. They report in about 5 more minutes. Let me check SOUN and the trade desk again. They're both, yeah. Trade desk was just kind of real indecision there with that initial positive reaction, then came all the way back down. Now they're red. Their trade desk is red about 2.3% right now, a little over 2%. It's changing because the price is moving in post market. But Soundhound, they kind of got smacked around a little bit. They're down 7.5% right now. Let's see if they're dealing with the 25%. Yeah, it looks like they passed that. They were kind of dealing with this 25% there just now, and it looks like the buyers pushed it above there. So that's $13 a share. Would probably be, short-term looking, post-market price action. You're trying to, not financial advice, but if you're trying to trade this with shares and limit orders and after hours, I don't like it going back below 13, that's for sure. So support level number 1, 13. Support level number 2, after hours low, which is about $12.50 a share. So we'll see if it can reclaim some of these other levels. I'd love to see it get back to around $14 a share. That would be nice for the Soundhound Bulls. Let's go back to Airbnb. Okay, Airbnb is still holding up the positive move. I'm not going to count this bottom wick here because that wasn't the real move, this red candle. I'm just going to put it right here. Okay. $126 a share. That's where 25% retrace from the upside is. Definitely, let me actually redraw this the other way. Sorry about that. Go from up here to right there. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that looks better. I drew it backwards. 25% is at 125.75 a share. Golden fib 123. So those are my support levels on Airbnb. We'll see if we can hold those levels. Just real quick, let's find out when Airbnb's earnings web call is. Over 2,000 people in the stream now. Welcome, my friends. Here it is here, November 6th. I'm going to put this link in the comments. Throw it in the Discord. If anyone wants to take a deeper dive into Airbnb's financials, there's the link. I'll put it over here. Okay, DraftKings in about 3 minutes. Okay, that's the link for Airbnb. If anyone wants to dive deeper, you can check out the press release right here. And just looking to see if there's any. Okay, this press release, they just went straight to the earnings web call, which is going to be at 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay, check this real quick. And let's take a look. Okay, quarterly results. So that link I just posted, once you get there, you can download the press release, the shareholder letter, and then there's the link to get you to the earnings web call. Again, it starts at 5 p.m. Eastern, so 45 more minutes. DraftKings data in 2 minutes. All right, so we got what we need on Airbnb. Let me go back here just for a second. 1 more minute for DraftKings. I know probably most people are here for DraftKings, maybe. And we are in football season. My brother uses, we're over here in Florida, so we got the Hard Rock Bet. It's the Hard Rock app. I think they're in a few other states, but my brother's been raking in like $500 every Sunday. He's real big into sports and knows all the stats and players and stuff like that, but he does real well. I mean, banking $500 every Sunday, it's like extra $2,000 a month. Here you go. I'll take it. Sometimes I'll copy his bets. All right, I want to just look more at Airbnb. They're holding up their positive move quite nicely. They're up almost 5%. The Porterhouse is in the house on X. What's up, my brother? Another one of our analysts over here in the Discord, the Porterhouse. He does really good projections for SPY and, you know, the ETFs that follow the indexes. Look at DraftKings. Wow. They're getting a negative reaction. They're down 8%. Let's see if it holds up or not. Definitely want to see the info for DraftKings. And my buddy Glenn Murphy on X says Airbnb is the type of business, just a platform provider like Uber. Yeah. It's just kind of like a broker that connects, you know, property owners with potential short-term tenants type thing. But they can actually leverage AI and not just say it on an earnings call. Their customer support is likely their main expenses, and a chat GPT like bot could really get that down. Yeah, I agree. And we've seen, you know, a lot of companies laying off a lot of their customer support people, and they're just letting chat, you know, AI take care of it. Basically, it's just going to save a ton of money on payroll. But the flip side of the coin is all the layoffs with the big companies. Yeah, it's going to help the company's bottom line. But now we got a labor market issue, don't we? So kind of a little give and take there. Glenn on X says hopefully DraftKings can get a lift with the NFL, NBA in this quarter. Last quarter was the slowest time of the year for sport. Yeah, that's you know, we're kind of getting into the busy sports quarter for sure. Porterhouse reposted the stream for me on X. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, so Airbnb's earnings web call isn't for 45 minutes. They missed EPS, but they beat revenue, and they raised Q4 guidance a little bit, and they had a record revenue quarter. It's all about the revenue with Airbnb, with investors. And looks like they impressed. Investors are loving it. Traders are piling into the trade here. It's up 5.3% in after hours. So it closed the regular session at $120.53 a share, down 1.6% on the day. Sitting here in after hours at $127 a share. Nice $6.50 per share bump there for Airbnb bulls. So congrats to anyone that was long on Airbnb and had an average below 120. You should have some profit on the table tomorrow for sure. Assuming it holds up here. It's looking like it wants to make a run to a new after hours high. Over 3,000 people in the stream. What is up, my people? Well, most of you probably know me already. Been doing these earnings streams, I think all year now, right? Since January, maybe. We have a lot of fun. We look at the earnings reaction, the stock price reactions to the earnings data. We go over the EPS, we go over the revenue, any guidance I can find, any other line items that would be important for that particular company or sector. We also look at some levels on the bigger time frame to kind of see where we're at now that Airbnb's data is out. I'm going to jump over to DraftKings here in a minute. Just you know, I definitely want to know what's up with them. But let's look at some bigger time frame levels on the bigger time frames. And this is the fib I drew in after hours. So yeah, I guess we can leave that on there. That's fine. So post market, they're trading just below 127. I'm going to say resistance at 130. That's probably what I'm thinking. Let me get rid of this fib. I'll go ahead and mark that out with a horizontal line. I know it's kind of some differentials here, like right here. Yeah, 130.05 is the high of that peak. And then let me just zoom out a little bit. The 131.11 is the high of this other peak here. I'm just going to call it 130. It's a nice and even number. I don't really go to the penny with my levels because it's never going to exactly hit the penny, right? So I like nice even levels of interest. I know some people, they're like, we got resistance at 129.83. And it's like, No, it's probably 130, right? I mean, just think about the levels like that. You know, you kind of got to think of it like that, because what if you're like, oh yeah, the resistance is 129.83. I'm currently short. So if the price comes up to 129.83, I'm going to stop out. And then what happens? It goes to 129.85, and then it rejects and goes in your favor if you're short. So it's like, you know, you can't really go by the penny on these things. You're going to drive yourself nuts. I like nice even levels. And of course, if you do it that way, it corresponds with the strike prices on the options chain. You know, there's a reason for it, right? And so I'm going to call resistance on Airbnb at 130. That'll line up with the 130 call strike on the option chain. You know, so it's getting a positive reaction, up 5%. I probably won't go over any bigger time frame support. I mean, if you look at today's candle, kind of bottomed out around 120. That's basically where it closed the regular session at. I suppose there's some support here. Probably call that 117.50. Lines up with over here as well. 117.50 to 118, like a little 50-cent like range there for support. Go ahead and put a horizontal line there just so it's there. That's fine right there. So it's kind of, you know, those two levels, like 117, 118 to 130. That's obviously the channel it's been trading in since August. So what's that, about 3 months ago? So this is 3 months of price action. Airbnb's just ping-ponging between I would say 118 to 130. So we're going to need to break over 130 for the bulls. I do think once that happens, it'd probably be a smooth run to the 140s. I mean, you can see the selling on Airbnb back here from July, how kind of abrupt and quick it was. And just as quick as it sold off down there, it could easily rally back up there, kind of like a little magnet. So break a 130, I'd say a daily candle closing above 130, and then a subsequent daily candle printing green. It'd probably be a nice trade to the 140s, but we'll see. We need some more buying power or buying pressure. I said buying power. I'm so used to writing contracts. I'm always thinking about buying power. After hours charts on TradingView. Yeah, you should just be right here in the settings here. So I'll go back intraday here so you can see. So here's the 1 minute, and TradingView is real easy to know because it'll have the post market or extended hours price action will be shaded. So I know I got the data there. But if you're looking at my screen, you come up here to the top right, you just click on settings, and then it's going to be an option that says extended, I believe. Let me just look at this real quick. Yep, right here. So you see where, if you're looking at my screen, this is from my buddy Glenn on X. Right here on the settings where it says symbol, you see this says session. Just make sure it says extended trading. Okay, right here. And as soon as you click that, and then you can change the shades of the price action and extended hours here. It's like pre-market will be kind of like a little orange. After market would be like this blue color. But I hope that helps. So just make sure you go to the settings symbol and then change the session to extended trading. You'll still get the regular session data, but this just adds the extended session layer on the chart for you. Just click OK and boom, it's right there. So Glenn, hope that answered your question there, my friend. All right, so Airbnb holding up nice and bullish. Again, they raised Q4 guidance. They had a record setting revenue quarter. Investors are loving it. And we already know the level of interest on the bigger time frames. It's got to reclaim the 130. If we get some more buying pressure, if it reclaims that 130 and can hold, I think it'll be easy trade to the 140s possibly. Let's go to DraftKings because it's almost 4:30. And again, Airbnb's earnings web call, 5 p.m. Eastern, about 35 more minutes for that. So that'll be a good time to go over DraftKings and see what's up with them. Because investors aren't liking the data, obviously. DraftKings is down 7.5% right now. So let me just look at my other screen here. 3,400 people in the stream. What's going on? I think my record for viewers on the stream, I think one time I had like 5,000 live viewers one time. So it's nice. I hope everyone enjoys the content. I'm just here to hang out, you know, not really here to sell anything. I just want to have fun and look at these reactions, especially when we got a big week with big companies, you know, like the Mag 7 reporting, which we had the bulk of that in the past few weeks. They reported, but still some big companies left to report for this earnings season. So anyways, let me go to DraftKings. Let's find out what's going on there. I'm going to go to Webull just for a second. I do use Webull charting. I just really like Webull's key statistics area. And then, of course, they got pretty solid data for the balance sheet and, you know, nice little line items we can look at for the income statement, balance sheet, stuff like that. So I do use Webull for that kind of stuff. DraftKings is coming off of a profitable Q2 quarter, and year-over-year numbers look good there. But for some reason, investors aren't liking the data today. Debt to asset 77%. A little on the high side, but they're not over leveraged or anything like that, so that's fine. It looks like they're trying to bottom out. This is a big bottom wick. I hate when it prints those wicks like that, but nonetheless, let's see what EPS revenue guidance, any commentary from the CEO or CFO. Let's take a look. All right. Yeah. I'm kind of seeing why the price is reacting the way it is. Got a lot of red on this graphic here. EPS came in line. EPS was negative, but it did come in line, negative 0.26. They missed revenue. Investors don't like that. DraftKings is another company, and revenue is very important. They missed by 5%. Forecasted revenue was 1.2 billion, and they reported 1.14 billion. So EPS was down 53% year over year. Revenue was up a little bit year over year, but on a shorter term view, the quarter over quarter numbers pretty bad. So they're kind of, if you think about like a trend line in a shorter term looking view, quarter over quarter numbers kind of going down, right? EPS down 168% quarter over quarter, revenue down 24% quarter over quarter. So from a bird's eye view, it doesn't look like they got good earnings, but it does look like there's a little bit of buying coming in right now. This is a 5-minute chart, so it is printing a 5-minute green candle right now with a decent sized body on it compared to this previous green candle, which is more doji looking, right? So we'll see if the buyers can fight the sellers here and try and reclaim some of the selling that just happened. Fast Subi says on Discord, can you go over TTD? They beat on everything I see, plus a buyback. Yeah. And let me just take a quick peek at them again. Here it is. Yeah. So Fast Subi says the earnings look good, plus a buyback. Basically, why is it kind of selling off a little bit, right? It's down 7.4%. So we'll scour the line items of the earnings data and see if we see any red flags popping off the page. And maybe we can find an answer for you on that. Soundhound doing a great job retracing. Actually just printed a higher low right here. Right at the 50% retrace, it printed a higher low. It's around $13.50 a share. So moving forward, if anyone's trying to trade this in after hours, of course, with limit orders, I don't really like it below $13.50 now because If this higher low gets invalidated, it very well could come right back down to after hours low, no problem. So for the bulls and post market for Soundhound, want this higher low to hold for sure. Okay. We're going to go over trade desk here in a second. But I want to see what's up with DraftKings. Airbnb still holding up. Lovely. Trading just below 126. It's up 4.4% still. Back to DraftKings. I don't think I posted their EPS and revenue. I'll put Airbnb's back up there. Just we got so many people. We got about 3,500 people in the stream right now. So could be some late arrivals who want to see whether Airbnb beat or not. And again, just a quick summary for Airbnb. They did miss EPS, but they beat revenue. They increased Q4 guidance, and they had a record revenue quarter. Investors are loving it. DraftKings, let me post their EPS and revenue in the comments so everyone has that. And then we'll find out when their earnings web call is. Okay. So again, with DraftKings, they I'm showing kind of mixed signals on the EPS. It's more likely came in line, might have been the gap EPS, but they missed revenue. They missed revenue. And okay, this is why DraftKings lowered the remainder of the fiscal year guidance. They lowered it. The previous guide was $6.2 billion to $6.4 billion. They lowered their fiscal year 2025 guide, which is basically just the rest of this year. They lowered it down to 5.9 billion to 6.1 billion. So that's quite the lowering of the guidance. It does look like there's some dip buyers going on DraftKings right now. Let me keep scrolling down real quick. I'm looking at their investor relations page right now. I'll post that link for everyone as well. So DraftKings missed revenue, EPS came in line. I'm going to post this data here from Cat Capital. Give a shout out to them. Okay, scroll down. Okay, so here's DraftKings. Everyone can see. Not good, they missed revenue. EPS, I guess you can give it a green check mark. It came in line. And we're going to jump over to TTD here in a second. Okay, and yeah, okay, with DraftKings, the quarter-over-quarter slowdown hitting growth. Kind of a little summary there. Let's find out when DraftKings earnings web call is. Now, DraftKings Chief Financial Officer did say they are definitely putting a lot of focus on improving free cash flow. So investors like when companies have a lot of free cash flow, that's for sure. All right, let me go back to DraftKings Investor Relations, and I want to know when they're going to do their earnings web call. It's probably going to be at 5 p.m., I would think. And that Airbnb's at 5 p.m. as well. All right, let's take a look. I'll leave DraftKings price on the left here. This is their investor relations page. I'll post this in the comments. Oh, and also for DraftKings, let me post their EPS and revenue in the Discord for everyone because I forgot to post that. I'll just use this data here from Cat Capital. Let's see. Onrod says SOUN is almost back to the daily close. Interesting. Yeah, look at that. They're doing a great job retracing that negative selling. So that was just a short-lived temporary pullback here. And there's people buying that dip. So, $12.50, obviously a level of demand for SOUN, Soundhound AI. They're sitting right here at the last fib. They're fighting with it right now. They're battling this level. It's right around 14 bucks a share. That's the last level of retracement for them to get back to baseline where they close the regular session. So Onrod, you're at good eyes there. You're absolutely right. We go back to, I want to find out when DraftKings earnings web call is. a little after 4:30. So let me post that link here. Let me see. Oh, I didn't post the link in there yet. Let me just do this. This is for DraftKings earnings web call. Put that in the comments for everyone. So maybe it saves some people some time. I'll put it on the bottom of my screen. So you can just screenshot that. That'll take you to DraftKings investor relations page where you can take a deeper dive into their financials, read the press release. You can download the PDF, which is 7 pages long. So not bad at all. Shouldn't take long to go through that information. And their actual earnings web call. Let's see what time that's going to be at. Oh, wow. DraftKings isn't doing their web call until tomorrow morning, folks. Straight from DraftKings website, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, tomorrow morning. So unfortunately, for the people in the stream here waiting on DraftKings earnings web call, you're going to have to wait until tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern for DraftKings. But the data's out, and DraftKings looking like it's doing a good job retracing. They've almost retraced back up. Let's check it out. Yeah, look at that. They've almost retraced right back up, kind of looking like sounds chart. Look at that. Well, here, I'll pull up sounds over here on the right. DraftKings over here on the left. So Airbnb still holding strong. They're trading just below 127 now. Congrats to the Airbnb bulls. Their earnings were great. DraftKings earnings web call not till tomorrow morning, so we went over that. Excellent. Got a request on the Discord from Fast Subi for the trade desk. Beats but goes down. Let's find out why. So here's the trade desk. Let's see if I can find any red flags on their earnings to justify why this thing sold off. Kind of bottoming out though, around 30. Got a level of demand here around 39 bucks. I'm not going to count these top candles because that wasn't the real move. I'm just going to draw it right here. Okay, the trade desk clawing back. A lot of this selling. They're sitting at the golden ratio right now. That's $44 a share to the T. So if the trade desk can pop back over 44, and we still got some buying pressure, this probably end up retracing all the way back to where they closed the regular session. It's not too far above where it's at now. All right, let me look at the trade desk because I want to know what's up with them. So trade desk looking good, reclaiming some levels. All right, and yes, Fast Subi, you were right. They announced an additional $500 million share repurchase authorization. They beat sales. They beat EPS. Let me put this data in here so everyone has it. I'll throw it in the comments. This is for the trade desk. Double beat. They beat revenue and they beat EPS. EPS kind of more came in line. This is for Fast Subi here in the Discord. Oops, I don't like how that came out. Let me delete that. There you go, Fast Subi. Let me see if I can find out any kind of red flags here. They raised Q4 guidance as well. The trade desk did. Year-over-year numbers green, quarter-over-quarter numbers green, double beat. And another thing, let's look at this. I'm going to go to, okay, here we go. This might give us some indication here. Customer retention remained over 95% during the third quarter. Okay, that's good. Here's some commentary from the CEO. Q3 was another strong quarter for the trade desk, with revenue growing to $739 million, which represents 18% year-over-year growth. Our momentum continues to be fueled by new product innovations we've launched across our Kokai platform, which are helping the world's leading brands unlock the full potential of data-driven advertising. As AI transforms the advertising ecosystem, customers globally are relying on the trade desk to enable objective, data-rich buying across channels and partners to drive real-world outcomes for their businesses. The pace of our innovation reinforces our leadership position across CTV, retail media, and the open internet more broadly. As we close out 2025 and look to the future, we believe the trade desk is uniquely positioned to capture more market share as we help advertisers succeed on the open internet and drive measurable business growth through data and AI. Well, that was a mouthful of commentary there from the higher ups. I'm sure they'll elaborate more on that during the earnings web call. And let me just look at a few other things. Yeah, it doesn't make sense why they had that negative reaction. I mean, to be honest with you, the initial reaction was positive. They came all the way up to $52 a share, and then it sold off. So I don't know, maybe this was a push down for a liquidity grab, and now it's kind of retracing back up. I'm trying to find some negative info on the trade desk, and I'm not really seeing it yet. Let me refresh my screen. Let's take a look again. Just looking for negative numbers here. Also, the trade desk has no debt and $1.4 billion in cash and equivalents. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think this pullback on trade desk is probably going to be short-lived. I don't really see anything justifying why it should be down here. I think it'll slowly come back up. I really do. Okay, I think I see here. I got some more data. This is the trade desk, and this is for Fast Subi. This is why they got it turned into a negative reaction. The market is punishing the weak Q4 guidance. So investors thought the guidance for Q4 was going to be higher than what they reported. So they posted weak Q4 guidance, which also signifies a significant growth deceleration to 13.4%, which is still double-digit growth, but that's down from 18%. So that's what it is. I'm glad I found that. So Fast Subi, I hope that makes sense. What I just explained there. A little bit of a weak Q4 guidance, and the trade-off with that is that does imply significant growth deceleration. So that's what investors were selling out on right there. Other than that piece of data, everything else looked good. It looked fine. They got basically no debt, and they got almost $1.5 billion in cash and equivalents. They're a healthy company. Let's look at some levels on the bigger time frame on this thing. It's almost 4:45 right now. About 3,600 people tuning in. Weekly time frame. It's interesting where the trade desk is trading at right now in after hours. That's this blue line here. Can you see that blue line? I know it might be a little light on my screen, but that's the post-market price right now. It's right where the support was. This is the weekly chart. So these are weekly candles, okay? And back in April of 2025, of this year, that was basically the end of the 20% market-wide correction we had. So that might have not even been any fault of the trade desk when it came down there. But that was right around 43.50 a share is where it kind of bottomed out at. And it ended up going on to rally to over $90. So that was a 100% move from April to July. So April, May, June, July, and within 4 months, it doubled the share price. Then, unfortunately, on this earnings here, which was the earnings they had in August, which was the earnings before now, investors took that earnings negatively, and they had a big red candle here. They sold off, what, 30 points during that earnings. So I'm really liking this support in the low $40 range. 40, 42, 43 bucks, around there. That's where it's holding up right now. Let's go back intraday. It did wick down below there momentarily, but look at that bottom wick, how big it is. This is a 5-minute chart. That's a nice bottom. That's a nice big bottom wick on a 5-minute candle. And it just shot right back up very quickly. But the base of these candles are all bottoming out around the low 40s, and that's the level on the bigger time frame. So the trade desk, I know it's red 4% in after hours right now, but low $40 range seems like a good level of interest and a level of value, if you will, a level of demand, however you want to put it. Low 40s on the trade desk. There's dip buyers there. And that was a level on the weekly chart we just looked at. So that's my support level on the trade desk. Call it maybe 42 bucks. All right. So keep your eye on that. Let's find out when the trade desk's earnings web call is as well, since we already looked up the other ones. Okay. Soundhound's still holding up quite well. DraftKings basically almost retraced, not all the way, but it's above the golden ratio now, which is around 26.75 a share. So there was dip buyers on DraftKings, and of course we were talking about this earlier. I think it was me and Glenn. We're in a big season for sports right now, so DraftKings should, subsequent earnings when they go to report Q4, that those should be some good earnings there for DraftKings. Lots of gambling going on in the season we're in right now. Airbnb still holding up very nicely, trading just below 126 a share after closing the regular session at 120 and some change. All right, cool, Fasubi. Glad that answered your question. Okay, back to the trade desk. They're slowly fish hooking up. Let's see. Okay, the trade desk's earnings web call is at 5 p.m. Eastern. So just about 12 more minutes for them. And put this link in the comments so everyone can get that. I'll throw it in the Discord as well. Fasubi, you might want to look at this. This link right here will take you to their investor relations page. That's how you can, and right on the home page, when you get there, you see this little pop-up here with the conference call info. So that if you want to watch it, that's how you're going to get to it. But yeah, it's almost 5 o'clock. We got the reactions. Again, Airbnb, great earnings, record revenue quarter that they reported, increased Q4 guidance a little bit. DraftKings, we went over that. I can put their data back on the screen, but DraftKings, they did miss. Let's see here. They missed revenue, and EPS basically came in line. But to wrap up the stream, let me go over a spread trade I opened up on Tuesday with the Discord. And of course, if you want these trades in real time, you got to join the Discord. If you look in the links in the description of the stream, you can even join the Discord for free and see how you like the free section and go from there. So like I say, I try not to be a salesman during these streams because I know that's boring. And but of course, I want to let everyone know the types of trades that I've been doing as well. So this was a put credit spread. This is the Discord here. This is a put credit spread I opened on Tuesday. I'll just pull this graph up here from Option Strat. And this was a $2.50 wide put credit spread. I opened this up on Tuesday afternoon, more specifically. So it was I only held it for 2 days. And I had an expiration date of November 14th. So I had the rest of this week and I had all next week of time left on it too. Which is not a lot of time, which is good because I don't really like to be married to these things, especially when VIX starts going back up to 20. My trades get a little shorter in time. I am a swing trader by nature. Of course, my name in the Discord is the Swinging Bull. So anyways, this Apple trade here, it was a put credit spread. The street slang for it would be a bull put spread. I guess it helps people remember that it's a bullish trade, but technically it's a vertical put credit spread and it's a neutral to bullish trade. That's why I like to trade a lot of credit spreads, because you don't really have to be directionally biased with these things. The underlying stock can trade sideways and it would still be a winning trade. So that's why I like trading credit spreads a lot, because we can be neutral and still win. Unlike an out of the money debit spread where you actually need a directional move for those to work out. And I teach all that in the Discord, how to do debit spreads, how to do credit spreads. But this one on Apple was a $2.50 wide spread. At the time we opened it, Apple was trading at 269.58. Okay. So I decided to put a vertical put credit spread below the price of Apple. And the thesis was a neutral to bullish trade, basically. So I sold to open the 265 put and bought to open the 262.50 put, all on the same trade ticket. I don't leg into these. When I trade spreads, I open it up on one ticket, both legs at the same time. If you're trying to leg into these, you can start having issues with the value of the spread not matching up to what you should have got. And it just kind of gets a little wonky sometimes when you try and leg into them. I do know very, very experienced spread traders that do leg into them. But when I trade spreads, I just enter them on one ticket. So I know exactly what's going on. And I know the current, the value of both legs at the time I enter the trade. It's important. So this was a 250 wide spread. In the option world, $1 wide spread is worth $100. Well, if it's 2.50 wide, that's worth $250, right? So you do need a margin account to trade spreads. So my broker tied up $250 while this trade's open. I like to target a 20% return on capital on these spreads. This particular spread paid $67 a spread, and you collect that as credit on the opening transaction. So we're getting paid up front instead of on the back end. But if you get $67 a spread on a 250 wide spread, 67 divided by 250, that's a 26% return on the capital I'm tying up. So that's just fine for me. Like I say, I like to target at least 20% on these spread trades. This one pays 26%. So more than happy with that return. And the chance of profit, or the pop, as Tasty Trade would say, percentage of profit, the pop on this is almost 70% chance of success. So I like the odds. And I know some people are looking at this max loss here and they're saying, why would I risk 183 to make $67? I totally get you on that. That's just kind of how out of the money credit spreads work. Your risk reward is kind of opposite of what you would think. Like normally, like when we're paying debits for trades, normally we like a 1 to 3 risk reward where you risk $1 to make 3. Out of the money credit spreads are a little opposite, but there is a way to manage the trade to keep yourself at a 1-to-1 risk reward. And the way to do that is if you collected $67 a spread on the onset of the trade, I like to use what I call a 2x credit received stop loss signal, if you will. What that means is if I collect $67 when I open these spreads, on a credit spread, we want the value of the spread to go to 0. And if that happens, then we pocket the $67 as profit. When the trade goes against you, in this situation, if Apple was to sell off and threaten our spread, so it was trading at 269 and some change when I opened this, I put my spread at the 265 and the 262.50 strikes. That's where my spread was sitting. If Apple sells off and threatens my spread, and the value of the spread, excuse me one second, someone's calling my office phone. I will put that on mute and call them back later. So anyways, the 2x credit received stop loss signal on these spreads to where you would never take this 183 max loss, because I never do if you manage these appropriately. So if I collected 67 credit when I open the spreads, what's 2x of that? Well, 67 times 2. So if the value of this spread ever gets to $134, that's your signal where you should maybe think about stopping out. Not financial advice. This is just how I trade them. Okay. So if the value of the spread of this credit spread gets to 134, you should maybe think about stopping out, because the trade obviously went against you. And yes, when you go to close it out, you will pay 134 debit. But don't forget, you already collected $67 when you opened it, which means your net loss would only be 67. So, and if you manage this spread trade this way, now you're risking 67 to make 67. You've just changed. You've just turned the trade into a 1-1 risk reward trade. Now, if you open these spreads and it goes against you, and you don't do any management at all on the trade, yes, you'll be looking at a max loss of 183. You never want to take max loss on these if they go against you. So these are not set and forget types of trades. A lot of people think spreads are like set and forget. I like to manage them to keep my risk reward in check. And if I use a 2x credit received stop loss, I know if I stop out of it, it's the 1-to-1 risk reward, and I can easily make that back on the very next trade. If you let these spread trades go and they've gone against you and you do take max loss, it's going to take you 2 or 3 trades to get that back. And I don't like digging myself a hole. So that's why I use the 2x credit receive, where if I have to stop out of it, I know I can make that back on the next trade. It's no problem. I'm not technically digging a hole, right? So these are just some of the things that I teach over here in the Discord. How to trade spreads. I do a lot of credit spreads, like I say. I do trade debit spreads when the opportunity presents itself. I do like trading debit spreads, but lots and lots of credit spreads. I basically am a contract writer, so most of my trades are sell to open. I'm on the selling side of the opening transaction. Okay, that's what I do. I've been trading like that for years and years and years and years, and it's my bread and butter. It's the most consistent strategy by far. It's the most consistent and profitable strategy that I've traded over the years. My goal on an annual basis is to beat the S&P average annual return by 3x or more, and I've been able to consistently do that year after year after year. I think that's a fair, target for annual rate of return. Not too greedy, I don't think. If you know what you're doing and you know how to manage these trades, getting a 30% return on your portfolio in 1 year is obtainable. I've done it. The people in the Discord know. I show my Fidelity account with everyone, all the trades I'm doing and everything. So it can be done. So with that said, I just wanted to give everyone a little peek under the hood on the types of trades I do. So again, most of my trades are sell to open. I'm basically a contract writer. I do have over 100 people in my coaching group right now. All right. And we've been making money all year. So come join the crew. I do live sessions with my coaching group every Monday afternoon. And I screen share my brokerage accounts with everyone so they can see full transparency, all my open positions. Every Monday afternoon, we go over all my open trades. I go over any management that we might possibly have to do on any of the trades. I go over, if we're taking early profit on a trade, anything like that. I walk everyone through step by step every week what's going on with all the trades. I usually have like 4 to 6 open trades going at one time. It's like my pipeline. And as I'm closing trades out for profit, I'm replacing them with new trades. But I think a pipeline of 4 to 6 open trades at any given time is a pretty good pipeline. There's always action going on, plenty of content to go over with the members with a pipeline of that size. But being a contract writer, so you're on the selling side of the opening transaction, you're basically like a little mini market maker. Okay, so that's kind of what I am. And that's true because you're creating and writing contracts. So you're creating liquidity for the options chain, and that's what market makers do. So if you've ever been interested in maybe becoming a little mini market maker like myself, and you've been interested in writing contracts, I'm your guy. I go by TheSwingingBull in the Discord. My real name is Benjamin. Most people call me Ben. And I've been trading for almost 10 years now. I've been with the Discord for about 4 years. So, I'm not just jumping around from Discord to Discord. I've been in this very same Discord this whole time. We also have another coach. His name's Lee. His Discord name is Mad Maverick. He's been trading for about a decade as well. His bread and butter is swing trading stocks or equity. So maybe you don't mess with options and you just trade stock. Mad Maverick, he's your coach. Okay, and we have a few other analysts in the Discord as well, but me and him are the main coaches. And Mad Maverick does trade naked options. He does real well with those. So he does do day trading and he does trade, the pre-market runners and stuff like that. And he's always getting some big hits. So anyways, we got a little something for everyone, but just wanted to share a little bit at the end of the stream here, a little bit more about myself and kind of what I do. So yeah, if you're looking for a new home, definitely check us out. Links are in the description. If you do join the Discord, tag me in the chat. I'll come by and say hello. We can talk for a little bit. Maybe there's something I can help you out with right away. But yeah, other than that, that's really all I got for today. Had a lot of fun, as I always do. I do these streams every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm always here, to answer any questions, comments, or concerns. And I get a really good feeling just helping people. But yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed the stream. I hope everyone has a fantastic night. And until next time, I'll see everyone in the very next stream. Cheers.